I was born and raised in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Both my parents were from the medical field, but in IIT, every personality or every person you meet, you get to know them much more because you are spending 24 by 7 with them.
With them, yeah, within a campus.
So therefore, and finally I learned my big lesson that if you want to really bring about a change, don't try to do something independently. And so by the time I finished my PhD, I was already married.
वो क्या स्टोरी थी? नहीं, वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है। मतलब ये कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ स्टार्ट?
So I think one learning for me was just because something fails, it doesn't mean that everything will fail.
Yeah, that is
So,
important.
and towards the end, I rose to be the managing director of Clarion in
Wow,
India.
nice. Wow.
I felt when I had reached the position of a managing director, to all the people who had told me that I would not be able to withstand the rigor of a chemical industry and who had rejected me,
बराबर. Yeah.
it was my answer back to them that
Direct answer.
if you have a determination and if you have perseverance, you can achieve.
Sure.
And I had very three clear purpose. So first thing is I should give back to the chemical industry because second I thought that I should do something for people who come from the underprivileged background because and the third very important is I wanted to pursue my music. Because
Actually,
rapid fire में क्या आने वाला है?
you are very much talented. You don't need it. I think so. So let's get started. So one chemical element that best describes your personality.
This is a wake-up call for every young graduate standing at the crossroads. Should you spend a fortune chasing a degree abroad or invest your talents where it truly matters? Here at home. Our guest today, an alumnus of one of India's premier institutes like IIT Bombay, faced the same questions. They had every opportunity to go abroad, but instead they chose to stay to build their career and their impact right here in India. In today's uncertain global climate with shifting geopolitics and unstable job markets overseas, their story actually reminds us that opportunities don't just exist elsewhere, they can be created here. In a nation that needs the ideas and enthusiasm of its youth, like never before. Starting as a lecturer in engineering colleges and making informed choices with the right priorities, she rose to become a managing director of a Swiss multinational in India. Her journey is a proof that with clarity, courage, and convictions, you can shape not just your career, but the future of India itself. So let's begin.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us to this podcast. So I done with the introduction. So now we will start ma'am's journey before joining IIT Bombay. So ma'am, can you little bit tell us about your childhood, how it was, from where you are belongs to, and all these things? Yeah.
So first of all, thank you, Dhananjay.
Yeah.
I think this is a very unique situation where somebody from IIT Bombay, who's himself an alumnus,
Yeah.
is has taken up this initiative of doing this podcast. So sincere thanks. I know you must be putting a lot of efforts into it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
About my childhood. So I was born and raised in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Both my parents were from the medical field. My father was a doctor, general physician, and my mother was a matron in a very premier institute, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research,
nice.
which is TIFR. And so education was something which was very important for both my parents because they came up through a very difficult time, and therefore they always felt that education is the starting point if you need to do something good in life.
Correct.
So as a child, very surprisingly, I was very naughty. I was very mischievous, very social. I could make friends with anybody around.
That's great.
And the biggest part was that I was least interested in studies.
Oh.
So you can say until probably the age of 8. So it was so bad that when I was in class 3, I stood 30th in a class of 50 students.
38th.
30.
Okay.
My rank was 30 in a class of 50 students. And my parents were really, really worried. So they told this to a good friend of theirs. He was a Parsi gentleman.
Okay.
He was very fond of me. He used to call me Mastan because I used to do a lot of masti. And I was also, I used to look up to him.
Mhm.
So they told him that, we are really worried. She just doesn't study and we don't know what to do. So he took me under his wings and he told me that, see, your parents are very worried,
Yeah.
and Mastan, you need to do something and you need to study. And then he gave me a bait.
Oh.
He said, you promise me, if you come first in the 4th standard,
Ah.
I will give you anything you ask for.
Oh my God.
As a child, I was very fond of jewelry.
Jewelry.
So I asked him, you will also give me gold? He said, yes, I will also give you gold.
That's great.
So I don't know what happened. I don't think it was really the jewelry or the gold part. And I started studying.
Mhm.
And to everybody's surprise, I stood first rank
Oh,
in 4th standard in the final exam.
that's fantastic. Nice.
And I think that was a turning point in my life. When I stood first
Uh-huh.
in the 4th standard, I suddenly felt very nice.
Yeah.
I suddenly felt very responsible, I think, and that was a turning point where my journey started, where I realized and I evolved into becoming a more studious, a more responsible, and a very sincere, hardworking student.
Hardworking student. Yeah.
Till 10th standard, when I stood in the top 3 in my school in SSC.
Wow.
So you can imagine, from being 30th in class 3 to being in the top 3 in class 10 in SSC board exams. I think it was
That's
quite a journey.
really amazing. Yeah. Got it.
Then after that, I took admission in Ruia College,
Ruia College. Yeah.
and I was least interested in
In
engineering.
science stream?
In science.
Yeah.
I took. I was always interested in science. Science and maths were my strong points.
Acha.
And I took admission in Ruia. I was not at all interested in engineering. So JEE was out of question.
But why? Any reason?
I didn't have an inclination for engineering.
Okay.
I just didn't think that it was something which I would be interested in.
Okay.
So I never appeared for JEE.
Mm-hmm.
And I pursued pure science. I completed my BSc in chemistry. And
Which
during
college?
Ruia College.
Ruia only.
Ruia College.
Okay.
I was for 5 years, from 11th, 12th to BSc.
Okay.
I studied in Ruia. Now, during this time,
Mm-hmm.
my mother had a very strong influence on me. As a child, in general, I used to fall sick very often, and she felt that I could not probably really handle something which was really very rigorous. So she was, though they were both from the medical field,
Uh-huh.
both of them didn't want me to get into medicine because they thought that it was just too rigorous
Too rigorous.
and my health may not permit me.
Yeah.
At the same time, my mother was surrounded by scientists,
Mm-hmm.
and in TIFR you have the scientists and researchers on one side and the administrative side the other. And she felt that the scientists and researchers always were regarded very highly.
Mm-hmm.
They could get opportunities to travel abroad, and in general, everybody was in awe of them. And
Yeah.
so she felt that I should become a scientist. And she kept ingraining that in me, that I think that you would be really well suited for research, and I would be very proud if you get into research and you become a scientist. And probably that did have an influence on me, so I pursued science.
Mm-hmm.
So then I completed my bachelor's in 1985
Okay.
in Ruia College.
Same Ruia College. Yeah.
Ruia College. And when I was in my final year,
Huh.
somebody from my family mentioned that IIT also has an MSc
Okay.
program.
So there you got to know about IIT.
Yes.
Okay.
Because IIT was always at that time known for its engineering, B.Tech,
Engineering,
right?
technical.
It was everywhere. It was known for its B.Tech degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably people knew, but at least we were not very much aware of
Aware
this
of
MSc program in IIT.
In IITs.
And so they said, okay, so my parents told me, why don't you apply?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. Frankly, I was not interested because I had got quite good marks. I had got quite good marks
Mhm.
in my BSc, and I was very confident that I would get a branch of my choice in Mumbai University.
In Mumbai University.
So I just didn't feel like taking the pains of appearing, but just to satisfy my parents, I went and appeared without any preparation and without any expectations. I was very clear. ठीक है, हो गया तो हो गया, बाद में देखेंगे.
That way. Yeah.
So I went and I appeared. I still remember the first day. The exam was in Convocation Hall.
Yeah,
In the
got
Convo
it.
Hall, the exam was held. And they had announced that you appear for the exam and the interviews will start after 3 in the afternoon. So the exam was, I think, till 12
Okay.
and in the afternoon, and then immediately afterwards the interviews would start. So after I came out at 12:30, I realized that the exam was so tough
Huh.
that I don't think I would have been able to make it. I was very confident that I won't get it. So I decided that who's going to wait till 3 o'clock to see the shortlist, etc. I might as well head home. ये अपने बस की बात
नहीं है. पैक करके घर चलते हैं.
So I went and stood on the 392 bus stop, which is near the school between a Hostel 10 and the Kendriya Vidyalaya. I went and stood there. Took the bus. I was very fortunate to get a bus, getting 392, you have to walk all the way up to the main gate.
Yeah.
So I took the bus and I headed home. When I reached home, my parents asked me, so how is it going? How was it? So I said it was very tough. So please don't have any expectations.
Okay.
And my mother said, but did you at least check whether you got shortlisted? I said, no, it was very tough. It's not possible.
Not possible.
My mother was not the kind who would give up.
Oh.
Okay? So she found out the chemistry department number, and the landline, you had those directories at that time, many years back. Yeah. A big fat directory where all the numbers would be listed.
Today also we have.
You have?
Yeah, today also we have. Yeah, it is available.
So she took the directory, searched for the phone number of chemistry department, and she called up and she said that, you had these MSc entrance exam. So are the results out? They said, yes, the results are out. The interviews have started.
Oh.
So she checked and then told my name, and then they said, yes, she is in the shortlisted.
Oh, that's great.
So why hasn't she come for the interview? So my mother got very worried and she said, okay, then for how long will this interviews go on? So they said tomorrow also the interviews will be there.
Oh, nice.
So in case she has missed out today, then we are happy to have her tomorrow.
Okay.
So I was not very sure, very frankly. Definitely I was not very happy because now I thought that it's one step, I've taken the first step, and now if I get, probably my parents will persuade me to go to IIT. So very reluctantly, and I think my parents sensed that. So they said, okay, we are going to accompany you.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So my parents accompanied me to IIT for the interviews. And I went, and there were 3 interviews, around 20 minutes or half an hour per interview. I think it was physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, organic chemistry. I don't know, how the panels were made, but there were 3 interviews, one after the other. And they had already declared in the morning that the final list would be put up around 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So my interviews were done around 11:30, and at 1 o'clock the list was put out. And there were only 25 seats.
Yeah.
And maybe there were several hundred. There may have been 700-800. I don't know. I don't know the exact number. How many?
Correct.
I said, top 25 में तो मेरा नाम नहीं आने वाला है. So I kept telling my parents, and they said, no, it's okay. You have given it a try. You know how parents are. They'll not want to discourage you. They will always try to see the positive. So they said, it's okay.
It's okay.
If we've come all the way here, we might as well wait.
Sure.
So we waited till 1 o'clock. And then my number came in the top 25.
Wow. Nice.
And my parents said, so now what? So I said, नको, मी घरीच राहीन. इथे येऊन काय करू मी?
अरे बाप रे.
So my parents were worried and they said, no, but see, you will be able to stay. And actually one thing which I didn't mention. I was a very timid personality when I was in college. I was very shy. I was talkative, but very shy. And many times I would be scared of things. And my parents felt that if I lived in the hostel, probably that would change.
Yeah.
So when they saw, I was very unsure, and there were some professors who were willing to start having, talk to any students who had any questions.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, we had one professor, B.G. Bhatt,
BG Bhatt,
who was the head of the department.
head of the chemical,
Yeah,
polymer,
head of the chemistry department.
chemistry department. Okay.
So when he saw my parents and me in the corridor of the
Uh-huh.
chemistry department, he stopped by and he said, anything that I can help you with?
Oh.
So my parents immediately said, her name. You know how parents are, no? Very
Again.
excitedly. They were very excited, and
Yeah.
dealing with a daughter who doesn't seem to understand the value.
Uh-huh.
So they immediately told him that she's got selected, but she seems to be having doubts. He immediately took us into his
Cabin, yeah.
and he asked me, "What is your doubts?" So I said, "No, I can get any branch in Mumbai University. I can stay at home. And important thing is, I used to learn classical music. at that
Classical
time.
music.
So I thought that if I stay at home, I will continue learning music.
Yeah.
So that was also, I think, one of the reasons why I didn't want to shift to hostel.
Yeah.
So, but he, went on giving me all the good things about IIT, and he said, Achla, I can tell you for sure, this is the right place.
Yeah.
No doubts about it. So don't think about it. I think that you should listen to people who can, who are wiser than you. And so I think by the time Professor B.G. Bhatt had spoken to me for maybe 20 minutes or so, I'd quite made up my mind that
Yeah.
I'll take admission there. And so I walked back home. I came back home with my parents, and they were the happiest, actually, very, very happy that I had finally
You
taken
got.
this decision.
Yeah.
So that was how I actually got into IIT.
That's really amazing. That professor in between. That means meeting with a professor, going to the cabin, and diverting your mind, and
Yeah.
you are actually making your mind to be part of IIT Bombay. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. But ma'am, before joining IIT Bombay, also there were options like you could have other than this IITs. Only IIT Bombay is there. It's not like that. IIT Delhi is also there. Other IITs also there. So why can't you choose? Have you given interviews to that college also or no?
See, as I said, I was a very delicate child in the house. Never used to staying outside.
Correct.
So even my house was in Sion, within Mumbai.
Yeah.
Going from Sion to Powai in IIT itself, I had to think so much. Do you think I had even a slightest inclination to go out of Mumbai? Never.
Acha.
Okay? And I don't think my parents also were very confident that, of sending me outside of Mumbai, because they thought that IIT Bombay, Powai was the best place. They were close by. So in case of I fall ill or something, they were still, be within like 45 minutes reach to. So forget about anything. I mean, IIT Bombay का विचार करके appear होने के लिए it took me so much time. So in no way I would think about going outside.
So you wanted a Mumbai University that way?
No, now that you ask me that question, I remember that I had appeared for an interview for MSc Biotechnology. Biotechnology had just started at that time. So I'd appeared for MSc Biotechnology in Pune University. But once again, I don't think that I really wanted. I was a very homely kind of person. I was happy in that comfort of my being in my own home in my parents.
Okay.
So I don't think that.
So that's great. Means you entered to the IIT Bombay campus. So first reaction after visiting the campus, what was if you can tell us the memories like you had when you entered the campus?
So, firstly, it was the first time I was living on my own away from home. That itself was a big thing. Okay?
Big achievement, we can say.
Big achievement that finally I agreed to go and stay out of home. But once I was inside IIT, my first day of hostel, the best, I was happiest because I had an independent room to myself, which I didn't have at home.
That's a great thing.
Everything at home had to be shared. So here I was very happy that I had an independent room to myself.
Correct.
Which was a big thing at that time. And later on, I heard that even boys in boys' hostels didn't have it because most of them had to share.
Uh-huh.
But hostel 10, we were privileged. We had a room to myself. So I think that was, I remember, was the happiest memory for me. Second thing is that lots of girls around. Okay? And the third thing I think was this lush green lawns of Kendriya Vidyalaya. You know,
KV, yeah.
uh, everybody joins IIT in July, you know, when monsoon, when rainy season has already started, and
Correct.
I think it's a very beautiful, you know, campus, the landscape. So I think those lush green lawns of IIT Bombay, the Kendriya Vidyalaya, is
Kendriya
something
Vidyalaya.
which still, you know, is a very good memory for me. And in general, the greenery of the campus, you
Yeah.
walk everywhere, it was lush.
Today
green.
also, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is really something which, apart from, you know, the happiness of having a independent room to myself,
Mhm.
where I didn't have to share anything, I think was the happiest memory.
That's great. That's great. Ma'am, can you little bit tell us a hostel life in what like friend circle and all these things, challenges, learnings in hostel life?
Okay. So so I joined for my masters,
Mhm.
and
So it was a 2 years or 3 years?
2 years, 2 years of MSc chemistry.
Yeah.
And as I had told you, I was quite keen on pursuing research.
Mhm.
So within the first few months itself, I had decided that I want to pursue my PhD.
Mhm.
But not sure whether it would be in IIT, but I was quite sure
Yeah.
that I wanted to do my PhD. And therefore, I did not even bother to apply, you know, outside, because otherwise, I think out of class of 25,
Uh-huh.
if I remember correctly, I think almost 20 of them had applied abroad
For PhD?
for PhD.
Okay.
Everybody was clear in the class. After first year itself, it was clear that they were all busy with their GRE.
GRE
or
kind of thing.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't do that. And so you can say that my hostel life was really longer than most people who do their BTech.
Yeah.
So it was 2 years of MSc and
MSc.
5 years of PhD.
PhD.
So very interesting. So I think first thing that I really learned
Uh-huh.
in IIT was adapting to the different personalities around.
Yeah.
Girls came from different backgrounds. Girls came from different regions, north, south,
Pan
east,
India,
west,
yeah.
pan India.
Correct.
And so just adjusting to them. See, the big difference is for people who join IIT after 12th, you know,
Mhm.
they've just done maybe a couple of years of junior college.
Correct.
But in my case, I was a day student for 5 years. So
Correct.
right from 11th to my final year,
Mhm.
I was a day scholar, go in the morning, attend lectures, attend practicals, and come home.
Correct.
So at that time, what's happened, you have a lot of friends.
Correct.
But generally, the friendship finishes by the time it's 3, 4, and you return home. And then
Correct.
you're back, you know, to your
Mhm.
home.
Mhm.
But in IIT, every personality or every person you meet,
Mhm.
you get to know them much more because you are spending 24/7 with them.
With them, yeah, within a campus.
So therefore, every personality or every person that you meet, you have to learn to adjust with them.
Sure,
right?
yeah,
So
agree.
I think that adaptability of adjusting with anybody and everybody around you,
Mhm.
I think that, according to me, is a very big learning.
Big learning.
The second thing is that you have to take your decisions independently.
Independently, yeah. Nobody's there.
Nobody is there.
Yeah.
And our time, there was no mobile. There was one
Landline.
phone,
PCO.
PCO, where parents could call. It was always busy.
Always busy.
So, you know, calling up parents or for any decision would not happen. So
Correct.
you had to take. So I think that was the second thing, taking decisions independently, which again I was not used to when I was at home,
Correct.
and adjusting to all the people. So I think this was one part of it, right?
These are the learnings we can say.
This is one set of learnings.
Learnings.
Adaptability, getting to you know, take your own decisions.
Mhm.
I think was a very important part of these few years.
Correct.
The second thing I was very active. I told you I was very social. So I
Uh-huh.
had a lot of friends even otherwise. So I was very active in probably one of the few
Mhm.
PGs who was active in the campus. So I always was a part of some election. I was standing for some post.
Oh. Really?
So in my masters, when I was doing my MSc, I was
Uh-huh.
the music secretary
Nice.
of the hostel of Hostel
Mhm.
10. And then when I joined PhD, I was the mess secretary.
Wow.
Okay. And after a couple of years, I think, of mess secretary, I became the general secretary
General Secretary. Wow.
of the
Nice.
hostel.
Nice.
So GSEC of H10. Now GSEC of H10, having meetings every month with GSECs of other boys' hostels,
Correct.
it was another learning.
Another
Right?
learning.
For me. I had to open my mouth because otherwise I would not be heard.
Correct.
And so it was not only within the hostel but even outside the hostel, there was a lot of learning. But can I share a couple of very interesting
Sure,
experiences?
ma'am.
So when I was a mess secretary, music secretary was okay. I mean, nothing really exceptional.
Okay.
Mess secretary,
Nice.
you have been in the mess.
Yeah.
Which hostel were you in?
Hostel 17. I was a maintenance counselor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was mess secretary, and we were a set of 4 of us who were mess secretaries.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from making the menu and things like that, at that time, uh, Hostel 10, the students were very upset because our mess bills were running high.
Correct.
So the minute we were new set of mess secretaries, 4 of us,
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the hostel came and told us, "Arey, nahi, ye to, the mess bills are going very high. You have to do something about the food cost, mess bills." Secondly, they also said there is no check on the mess workers. क्या पता वो जो हमेशा एक्सेस करते हैं, घर लेके जाते हैं. So we were घेराउड out by all the students, all the girls in the hostel. 120 girls in our hostel, 120, 130 girls. And we were maybe 23 or 24 years old at that time. So he said, चलो हम लोग ना कुछ करते हैं. So what we did is we decided to keep a check on, weigh all the groceries. कि वो लोग एक मेनू बनाने के बाद
Correct.
we used to ask them कितना लगेगा आपको. Then they used to say 5 किलो राइस लगेगा, 3 किलो ये लगेगा, दाल लगेगा.
अच्छा, मन में आया वो बोल दिए उन लोगों ने.
They told us.
हाँ, बराबर.
So we thought ये 5 किलो बोल रहे हैं तो definitely हम लोग 4 किलो में हो जाए. खुद की अक्ल लगा के, which I will never advise anybody to do. I'll tell you what happened. खुद की अक्ल लगा के हमने बोला ये 5 किलो बोल रहे तो हम लोग 4 किलो में करेंगे. So we started doing ration.
हाँ.
Okay? And we thought this is how we are going to save money and bring down the mess bills.
Yeah.
Now mess workers is a different breed altogether.
Correct.
That's what I learned. So every Saturday or Sunday, I think we used to sit with the mess workers and make all this. Monday afternoon, we came back at around 1:30 after lectures, and we saw there was chaos in the mess.
Oh.
And we learned that only girls who came up to 1 o'clock got food.
अच्छा.
After 1,
No
there
food.
was no food. And girls were hungry. I mean, imagine growing girls. It
Correct.
started lectures from 8:30 in the morning till 1
Yeah,
o'clock.
yeah.
They all famished. So every time they went into the mess, they said, पूछो अपने नए mess secretary से.
Oh.
उनको पूछो, अभी वो लोग कंट्रोल करने वाले हैं ना कितना हम लोग खाना
अच्छा.
बनाते हैं. उनको पूछो, आप हमको मत पूछिए.
डायरेक्ट बोले.
डायरेक्ट बोले.
इधर बिल आ गया सब.
So we all went into a huddle. Our mess secretary didn't know what to do. I tell you, we were terrified because we never expected that something like this would happen. At that time, there were no these, canteen or stalls or anything in the campus. So khana nahi hai. Hostel mess was the only place where you could go and eat. Otherwise, you have to go to the main road. There was one Wadilal, there was one, I think, RK. ऐसे 2-3 hotels थे, but time नहीं था because people would come back for lunch and then immediately people had to go back for 2:30 for
Lectures.
practicals or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So it was one of the most difficult days, that we had to go through, and finally I learned my big lesson that if you want to really bring about a change, don't try to do something independently, and definitely not of people, with the category of mess workers or whatever. Take them into confidence. साथ में एक साथ बैठो. Try to convince them.
Discussion होना चाहिए.
Discussion होना चाहिए.
Communication proper होना चाहिए.
Correct. You can't just decide कि हाँ हम लोग कुछ करेंगे, but probably they were not educated, but they taught me and other mess secretaries a lot of lessons.
Correct.
Is what I
In real life,
in real life.
that is very important.
So that was an interesting experience of mess.
तो आपने मतलब उसको हैंडल कैसे किया? उनको खाना चाहिए था तो मतलब
So I don't remember exactly what happened. I
हाँ.
think they were very angry. The girls were definitely very angry, but very difficult to calm them down because भूख लगी थी.
बराबर है.
खाना
But
नहीं
obvious
है.
है, हाँ.
You know, so I don't know कैसे manage किया, but हो गया वो दिन. And after that we sort of said, okay, ये लोग 5 किलो बोल रहे हैं तो बाबा 5 किलो दे दो. You know?
एक्स्ट्रा भी ले लो.
हाँ, but ये सब नहीं चाहिए. And then we told the girls also that see, we are trying our best, but you know, this is what the issue is. And I think the girls understood it was not our fault, and we were actually trying to do it with a good intention.
Right.
So, but बहुत बहुत बड़ा learning था. I think being a mess secretary, and you know, for I think for maybe 2 years at least, I don't remember, but I think for 1 or 2 years I was the mess secretary.
Nice.
Lot of learnings.
लेसन्स भी है, challenges भी आए, overcome भी किए.
किए.
मतलब कुछ किए, कुछ बाकी है.
And then I became, then I was elected as a general secretary.
Yeah, GSEC.
That was.
GSEC मतलब elections हुए होंगे.
I
Hostel
think so.
में.
Yeah, I think so. Hostel में elections वगैरह हो गए, and then I became the general secretary. When I became general secretary of Hostel 10, I realized I had to lead the hostel through a very difficult situation. So until then, all the wardens of Hostel 10 were women professors who were living in the campus. But because of certain issues with the hostel, there was some deficit, etc. So none of the women professors were willing to become warden of the
hostel,
girls hostel.
हाँ.
And मैं तो GSEC बन गई थी. Our previous warden's tenure was over.
नया कोई नहीं आ रहा है. फंस गई हूँ.
So अभी क्या करें? तो हमारे हॉस्टल में थे कई लड़कियां, अभी मुझे नाम नहीं लेने. बोले नहीं हमको तो वार्डन वगैरह की किसी की जरूरत नहीं है. हम लोग तो सब आपस में हम लोग हैंडल कर देंगे,
मैनेज कर देंगे.
हम लोग मैनेज करेंगे. क्या वार्डन एनीवे आके क्या करते हैं?
Really?
हम है ना, हम करेंगे. But as a general secretary, naturally I was a bridge between the girls in the hostel and the management of IIT.
Correct.
Right? Especially dean students.
Dean student.
So लड़कियां बोलेंगे कुछ भी, but I have to be a bridge, and I just because the girls are saying we don't need a warden, it's not that IIT is going to agree. So few weeks ये चला. Finally, I was called by Dean Students Affairs, and he said, "See, this is a real dilemma that none of the women are ready to become the warden of the hostel."
Oh.
So, as a management, we have decided that we are going to appoint a male professor as a warden of
girls
ladies hostel.
Oh.
What do you think about it? So I said, do I have a say in the matter? I mean, it doesn't matter, right? What I think about it, right?
Correct.
So then he said, no, I mean, do you foresee any challenge? क्या हो सकता है? So I said, see, generally तो कोई at least कोई warden, lady wardens also कभी रात को आके कोई rounds तो नहीं लेते थे. Well, if anything happened, we girls in the hostel, the secretaries in the hostel itself would find a solution. So I said, कि ऐसा तो I don't foresee any challenge, but I don't know ना आगे क्या होने वाला है, because first time हो रहा है तो. So he said, okay. So we have decided to appoint a male warden. So probably, I think in the history of IIT Bombay, I was a GSEC of a hostel, and Professor Dipan Ghosh, physics department, was very famous, was appointed as the first male warden of Hostel 10 of IIT Bombay.
That's really amazing. In your tenure as a GSEC.
But it was not about me and Professor Dipan Ghosh. It was the girls who came out me and said, how can you accept this?
Oh.
You shouldn't have accepted it.
Correct,
We
correct.
can manage on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So I was caught, and I said no. I mean, this is the management's
Decision, yeah. You have to
They said,
accept it.
they
Yeah.
said no, but you know, we are girls. We are living in the hostel. We are paying the fees. तो
Correct.
क्यों चाहिए?
हाँ हाँ.
तो बहुत इशू हो गया, बट फाइनली हो गया.
बट रीजन क्या था कि जो फीमेल वार्डन फीमेल प्रोफेसर थे उनको वार्डन बनने में व्हाट वाज द रीजन व्हाट डू यू थिंक एट दैट टाइम
I don't know. These are very controversial topics, of course, but it's more than 40 years old. So I can talk.
हाँ
So Hostel 10 had run into a deficit.
हाँ हाँ
So compared to the other boys' hostels, which were I don't know how it was being managed, but there was certain, and this deficit, it was not that the girls were entirely responsible.
Correct.
It was not the girls who were fully responsible.
Mhm.
It was something that had happened in the past. I didn't have all the details at that time.
Okay.
But the management of IIT was persuading that this deficit has to be paid by the girls of the hostel.
Girls only.
Yes, and the deficit was accumulated over the years.
Oh my God.
So the girls were saying, why should we pay it? You know, because
Right.
girls are here only for 2 years or 4 years.
Yeah.
So if this has been accumulated over the years, then why should the girls? And why was it not identified at that time?
That time, right?
So I think the warden was having a lot of pressure from the management.
Mm-hmm.
So they to fill up the deficit,
Mm-hmm.
and the warden was also not being able to persuade the girls, because girls also had their own views, which was right.
Correct.
IIT management had their own views, which was all, they were also right in their own way. So I think the warden was a very difficult. The position of the warden was very difficult. You know, they couldn't convince the girls. They found it difficult to have a conversation with the management.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, I believe at that time, that was the reason.
That was the reason.
Yeah. First interaction with Professor Dipan Ghosh.
Huh.
So naturally, the way I was a little worried about how things would go on, he also was very brave, I would say,
Yeah.
to accept the position of a warden of a girls' hostel. So he called me over to the physics department, and he asked me a lot of questions. What do you think? What are the challenges, etc. And he told me, I know everything. I know that deficit is there,
Mm-hmm.
but don't worry, हम सब manage कर लेंगे.
अच्छा.
And I can tell you that
हाँ.
first meeting with him,
Mm-hmm.
मेरा जो कुछ stress था
Release.
पूरा
फटाक
चला
से.
गया. He just calmed me down.
हाँ.
He said, you don't worry, you people have come here to study, पढ़ाई करो. मैं हूँ ना, I will see. But both of us have to have a really good relationship, working relationship together, so that if both of us have the confidence in each other, we will be able to tackle anything.
That's really important.
So I believe that I learned it was the most enriching experience for me to work with Professor Dipan Ghosh. So
Dipan Ghosh.
I didn't have the fortune to be taught by him, because I had not joined for my BTech.
Yeah.
But I had heard a lot about him. He was very strict, and his papers were very tough and things like that. So people
Yeah.
respected him; they were in awe of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have that. I was not privileged to
To have
have that.
lectures.
But I can say that being a general secretary of a hostel with Professor Dipan Ghosh as a warden taught me how you need to negotiate with management if you want to get anything, how to be tough,
Tough.
right?
Yeah.
And how to get your way.
Three things.
These were lessons I don't think even an MBA can teach you.
Correct.
So on the job, being a general secretary of a hostel, a ladies' hostel with a male warden, what I learned, amazing.
So many learnings.
I can say that this was the best thing that ever happened to me. Working with him, and in general dealing with management, he taught me a lot of things.
Correct.
I am ever indebted to him for these learnings in IIT.
That's great. Ma'am, recently one suicide happened at IIT Bombay or in other IITs also. What are your views on that? Like why people are how it is different, that education system at that time and nowadays? Like people are actually committing suicides and all these things. How you are looking at that?
See, I think that especially when students join after 12, when they come for BTech,
Correct.
I think they're very vulnerable.
Right.
They come from all kinds of backgrounds, and probably students come from a background where they may not be getting a lot of guidance from their family, right?
Yeah.
Or there are other sets of people where the parents' expectations from the students
So high.
are very high. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So till they are in 12th, it's okay. They may be the topper in their college or whatever, and
Mhm.
everybody बहुत you know how it is in India.
Correct,
You know, if you top in the class or whatever, parents आपका बहुत ये करते हैं.
Mhm.
Family, everybody in the family are also very, oh my God, he's got so much percentage, 90% मिला ये वो. So that is there.
That
right?
is there.
The minute they get into IIT,
Mm-hmm.
now they find that everybody is a topper.
Everybody is topper, right?
And now they have to compete with people, everybody at the same path.
Same path.
And probably I think that is the first shock that they get, and the pressure to do better is there. At the same time, I think that psychologically, this is the first time they have come out of their homes.
Correct.
So emotionally, psychologically, I think they need some kind of support, which probably doesn't happen. So I told you, right? Even when I was in BSc, so I was 20, but I was very reluctant to come to IIT. And one of the reasons, probably, I don't know, but probably was fear that, whether I'll be able to stay alone. I don't know what it was, but there was definitely some fear. When I had already finished my undergraduation,
Correct.
so imagine people who are coming at the age of 17 and 18. I feel थोड़ा तो fear होगा.
बराबर.
And वो psychological pressure होगा, maybe that they have to perform, plus at the same time they don't have their family to support. Probably there may be students who have come for the first time in Mumbai.
Yeah, city, we can
right?
say.
In a city life.
City
People.
life.
So I think it's a play of all this. And probably people who cannot bear that or cannot mitigate all those challenges, and they don't have anybody to talk to, probably are being driven to an extreme. But it's one of the saddest things to hear. I mean, every time I hear that, it's very sad.
Really.
Very sad to
Yeah.
to hear.
So what do you think, what would be the advice to that students who have just entered the campus? How they have to look at a campus? See,
I don't know how things are now, but in our time, IIT had appointed some psychologists, student
clubs also
counselors,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, clubs also
So
there.
I think IIT was doing at that time, and I'm quite sure they
Yeah,
must
right
be
now.
doing much more now. Very difficult to say. I think it is the first signs of a person under pressure. Must definitely be the friends, or the group, your wing mates.
Correct.
Your wing mates, or they would be the first people who see that there is something which is not right.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that when students enter IIT, and I don't know whether this is the right thing, but since you're asking me, I'm just thinking, I think when students enter IIT, in the induction, all the students should be given some kind of a induction that be observant, be vigilant, because you have students coming from all
diverse background,
diverse backgrounds.
Pan India.
Yeah, and so therefore, keep a watch.
Correct.
Try to take people together. Don't form these small groups. Try to find out if there is somebody who is not with you. Go and try to reach out, find out. Especially the people who are in the city, come from city life, who have should really be given an opportunity or persuaded to take care of people who have come from remote areas. And because I think that the first signs would be seen more within the hostel, within the wing mates. Probably they're already having it, I don't know, but if it's not being done, I think those are the first set of people who will be able to identify that there's something happening.
Right.
And if they see that something is happening, I think they should immediately alert either the professors or the warden or whatever, which they must be doing.
Correct.
But definitely there needs to be a much better system to handle it.
So got it. So we are done with this during IIT phase. Now we will start with post IIT.
In IIT, we underestimate the power of what is available to you. So it may be sports, it may be music. You have everything there.
You name it, it is
you
there.
name it is there,
Yeah.
right? And I was very fortunate that we were in an era where we didn't have mobile phones. Okay,
Yeah.
calling up each other was only through that PC.
PCO.
So एक बार college lectures everything got over,
Yeah.
and we came back, finished whatever assignments we had to do. I think it was only going and being in your group and then your network of people.
Correct.
And me being, because I was fond of music and I was already learning music,
Mm-hmm.
so I had a lot of musically inclined friends. I
Mhm.
could make friends very easily,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was the best thing to happen. My music group, uh, we went for concerts together, even
Mm.
outside of IIT. Uh, I sang a lot in all inter-hostel programs, even hostel programs, inter-hostel
Mm.
competition. You know, we had, every hostel had some kind of a program. There was Hostel 6 had uh, some, I don't remember the name now.
Uh-huh.
Then we had PAF. Do you have
PAF.
PAF still? NID
Uh,
Performing Arts Festival?
I don't know really.
No.
I don't know.
So we had two hostels would be paired up.
Mm-hmm.
It was all taken by chit lottery kind.
Mhm.
You know, two hostels would be picked up, and
Mhm.
then both hostels had to come together to come up with. It was called Performing Arts Festival, PAF. So
PAF,
you could have dance, music, script, everything. So I think those fantastic opportunities to really, and so many competitions. There was, we were very fond. We would always go to music club. There was this program on 2nd October, Gandhi Jayanti. I think it was Anjali. I don't remember the exact name. We had one Professor Patnaik, you know,
Uh-huh.
who would take a lot of interest in us. And so this music group of mine, we became very close because we were always together. There was somebody who would sing, somebody would play the tabla and things like that, and we were very, very close knit.
Yeah.
And I can say till today I'm friends. One of your previous guests,
Yeah. Ajay Bhagwat sir.
Ajay Bhagwat, no, he was senior to me,
Huh.
with me. But Sandeep Tarkas.
Sandeep Tarkas. Yeah.
So Sandeep Tarkas was also senior to me. He had just finished when I joined,
Mm-hmm.
but he was. I sang a lot with him, some duets. He would come over to hostel. I was a very constant in Surbahar, and that was something. So 86 was my first Surbahar, and me and Vibhavari Apte, we were the only two female singers for Surbahar, and all others were guys. And I think in my first Surbahar, I sang 13 songs. So
Wow.
maybe 2 or 3 solos and the rest all duets. So I had a hoarse voice by the end of the program.
Uh-huh.
So I think my group of music
Uh-huh.
was, you know, one of the most interesting. So I really got a lot of opportunities. It I got rid of my stage fear. You know,
Acha.
just going and performing
In
every
front, yeah.
2 months somewhere was itself gave me,
Stage daring, you can
yeah,
say.
stage. I could handle a stage. Of course, I still get nervous, you know, even now if I have to sing. But at least at that time,
Fantastic.
please don't, you know, be immersed in your mobile phones. Very
Right
tempting.
now, yeah, 2 days.
But I think this is your age, the campus life. You have everything possible there. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot with this music group. Even my ability to cycle, I didn't know how to cycle. And in
Oh.
IIT, you know, you can't do without,
Without
a
cycle, we can't do anything.
But I think it was this music group who, these guys, most of them were junior to me, so I could really dominate them and bulldoze them. And I used to tell them, अरे चलो मुझे साइकिल सिखाओ. तो मैंने बहुत भगाया है लड़कों को मेरे पीछे साइकिल सिखाने के लिए. So those were interesting days, I think. So yeah, these were all the learnings of my hostel life.
बहुत अच्छा लगा मतलब सुन के मैम कि जो भी आपकी लर्निंग्स चैलेंजेस ओवरकम करना सब मतलब जो आप आईआईटी में आने के पहले थे और आईआईटी के बाद जो
Oh.
ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है
Yes, definitely.
Worth.
Definitely.
हाँ? जो
Yeah.
डिसीजन था मम्मी पापा ने जो भी किया वो
Yes,
सब
yes,
अच्छा ही हुआ अटेन
Yes, both my parents, my
Otherwise-
Professor V.G. Bhatt, I think I owe entire credit to them
या
for persuading me. And this is one more lesson, you know, कि तभी एटलीस्ट हम बच्चे माँ बाप का सुनते थे.
हाँ अभी
आजकल के बच्चे तो दे आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम रियली value what their parents say, but I think that my decision to listen to take my parents advice,
writing the exam, going for interview,
yes, everything
again cross checking the whether it is selected for interview or not,
yeah.
calling the department and all these things.
entire credit I think to my parents.
Really
There is
yeah.
no doubt about it.
Otherwise आप तो दूसरी जगह रहते अभी
Yeah,
मतलब
definitely. no doubt about it.
So guys, अभी IIT का जर्नी हो गया है. So we will come to the post IIT journey of the ma'am. So मैम अभी आप क्लैरियंट इंडिया की लिमिटेड की जो कंपनी उनके एमडी रह चुके हो, तो वहाँ तक का जर्नी मतलब आपके जैसे पीएचडी हुए तो उसके बाद आपने जॉब के लिए अप्लाई किया था या कुछ अलग ही करना था?
So by the time I finished my PhD,
हाँ.
I was already married.
वो क्या स्टोरी थी? नहीं वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, मतलब ये कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ स्टार्ट?
So I was already, when I entered IIT,
हाँ.
I already had a boyfriend, so I was
Oh,
already dating somebody.
That's great.
When I entered IIT. So and I was very fortunate that I completed my MSc, and my first year of PhD itself I got married. But everybody, my husband and my in-laws, they were very supportive that I should complete my PhD. And therefore, after my marriage, for 3.5 years after my marriage, I continued staying in the hostel.
With husband?
No, alone in hostel 10.
My God.
So my husband and my in-laws, they stayed in Mumbai. So I continued in the hostel. Friday evening I would go home, and Saturday, Sunday I would stay with my husband and in-laws, and Monday morning I would come back to the campus. So for 3.5 years I was staying in the hostel, very dedicated and focused towards my
studies,
PhDs.
Really brilliant.
So I think a lot of credit to also my
he's also IITian?
He is not an IITian, and probably that is why he encouraged me so much, because he had he had got a rank of 700 and something in JEE.
Acha.
But he got chemical engineering at that time, and
in
he
IIT?
was in IIT Bombay.
Okay.
And he was not interested in IIT, so he took admission. He joined IIT Bombay. He was in hostel 9. He stayed for 3 weeks there, and then he got admission in College of Engineering Pune for electronics.
Oh my God.
And at that time there was nobody in his family to advise him that no, you should stick on to IIT. His focus was more his branch. He didn't want to do chemical engineering. And at that time, as I said, he was not sure that suppose there was a possibility of branch change after first year.
First year direct.
But he didn't want to take that chance. So while he stood second in the merit list in Mumbai, and there were 5 seats for people in Mumbai in Pune electronic, in COEP, ENTC electronics, there was only 5 seats.
5 seats.
And he was getting it easily. So he left IIT Bombay and he came and joined COEP. And so therefore, since we were already dating before I joined IIT, and he was also, I should give him credit, he was also one of the people along with my parents who said, no, you will not go to Mumbai University, you must go to
the IIT.
Because by the time he had come to 3rd year, he had realized the importance of having a degree from IIT.
Right.
And he didn't have anybody to guide him, so he said, no, there's no way, you must take this up. So he also was a very integral part of, I think, my decision making.
That's
to join IIT.
Really amazing. Someone is there from IIT Bombay, degree.
So he, as I said, he joined, stayed for I think 3 weeks or 1 month in hostel 9, and then he moved to
COEP.
He moved to COEP.
That's great. Anyhow.
So once I finished my PhD, Pune had charmed him a lot. So he was very clear.
You completed PhD in which year?
1992.
1992.
So 85 I joined. 85 to 87 I did my masters. And 87 to 92, 5 years.
5 years.
I did my
PhD.
So 92, he was very keen on moving to Pune. He didn't like the life in Mumbai. And 4 years in Pune he was quite clear that he wanted to move to Pune, and so I followed him to Pune. And chemical industry is not there in Pune at all, right? So I applied for job, I could have got research associate positions in NCL because my guide knew a lot of people in NCL, and I used to visit NCL very often when I was in PhD, National Chemical Laboratory.
Yeah.
So taking up an RA position was the easiest thing for me, right?
Thing.
Because I mean, they were very much welcoming to somebody from IIT. So I'd also spoken to a professor, and he had offered me a research associate position. But at the same time, before submitting my thesis, actually, when I just finished all my experimental work, Maharashtra Institute of Technology, MIT Pune, they had a polymer engineering department. They had applied for a position, and it was a permanent position, and I had applied for that position. And I got a job as a lecturer. So I had choice. I could either take up a research associate in NCL, or I could take up this. Research associate position was always a temporary position. So every year you had to give the interview. It was always a contract for 1 year, and you had to keep giving. And the other people in NCL who were RAs, they kept telling me that after every year, you know, there is a lot of pressure whether you would get selected, whether you would get a continuation or not. So I thought, okay, you know, I'm getting a teaching job, and I was fine.
Fine, yeah. That is a good decision.
So I took up the teaching job in MIT. Then I worked in MIT for almost 10 years. 9 years, yes.
Oh, nice.
9 years I worked in MIT. My husband was traveling most of the time, so I think it was a good time. I had 2 children, and I think it was the best time. It gave me a lot of time to take care, be with my children. Plus, being in a teaching job helped me to, balance vacation time. I was there for them. I could give them a lot of time. Plus, whenever my husband was abroad, I could take my children during vacation, wherever he was. So in that sense, I think on the personal front, it was my best time. I could give a lot of time to my children. On the professional front, I think after 7 or 8 years, I started getting very restless. I had to teach the same things again. And I was not feeling very challenged. Though I must say that I was doing a lot of things which were not very common. I had got a sanction of a first research project from Government of India, which at that time the government would only give to government institutes. So probably we were the first private institute where I got a funded project from the government. Then I also went to the US to present a research paper. Again, very rare. At that time, I got funding from Government of India. I got funding from Pune University, and fully funded. I visited. So I was doing a lot of things which was not very typical of a lecturer or teacher. But at the same time, I realized that it was not something that I would do for life. So my husband then said, okay, then why don't you join industry. Now, chemical industry, first of all, was hardly existing in Pune.
Okay.
There were a handful of maybe 5-6 companies, and I had no network at all here, right? Network was not even a word at that time during my time. Okay, अभी तो सब लोग networking के बारे में बात करते हैं. Network वगैरह ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. Word नहीं था. I didn't have any contacts because all my life I had lived in Mumbai. And I was very much in the college circle, I knew people maybe Bharati Vidyapeeth or somewhere else, but definitely nobody in industry.
Correct.
So I would keep waiting for a day. हफ्ते में एक दिन था in the newspaper, the ads would come. So I would keep looking for it. And in those 2 years, I think 99 to 2000, I must have appeared for at least 4 to 5 interviews. At least मैं apply किया और call
back.
So whenever I went for the interview, they would look at my CV, they would ask me questions, and at the end they would say, हाँ ठीक है, you sound very enthusiastic, but 7-8 साल, you have taught. तो college perception about academia was, अरे आराम से आते हैं, 10 बजे जाते हैं, 4 बजे, वही सिखाते हैं हर साल, कुछ नया नहीं होता है. So they told me कि, you won't be able to withstand the rigor of industry. तो आप जो academia में हैं, वही करो.
और advance देने लगे.
So, and every company would say that. So after 3 or 4 companies, I thought कि ठीक है, नहीं अभी industry में तो नहीं होने वाला है. It was very clear that, I mean, कि बिकॉज 4-5 ही तो थे, उसमें से 4 लोगों ने तो यही बोला था
वही,
मुझे
हाँ, हाँ.
कि नहीं मिलने वाला है.
हम्म.
And suddenly this in 2000 there was a Y2K problem. Have you heard about the Y2K?
Y2K.
Y2K problem. The year 2000 was coming,
हाँ.
and software companies had this major issue of how they would have, you know, modify their systems to handle the year 2000.
Okay.
So suddenly the software industry had a big demand of software professionals, and the demand was much more than the supply.
Okay.
So one day I saw this different advertisement in Times of India from a company called as Mahindra British Telecom, MBT, which is now Tech Mahindra.
Tech Mahindra, हाँ.
अभी का जो Tech Mahindra है. So the advertisement was, if you are a PhD in physics, chemistry or maths,
हाँ.
please join us, we will train you.
We will train you. That's great.
तो मुझे तो इंटरेस्ट नहीं था. My
हाँ.
husband said that anyway तो chemical companies are not taking you.
हाँ.
तो ट्राई तो करो.
हाँ.
तो मैंने बोला ठीक है. So I applied. I went and I got selected.
हाँ.
And I joined MBT.
हाँ.
Everybody in my family like, your PhD chemistry, what do you want to do?
Relation ही नहीं है कुछ भी.
कुछ संबंध नहीं है. So, but see, why did I join? My intention was to get out of academia. That I was very clear. I had to get out of academia.
बराबर.
And if chemical industries were not willing to give me the chance, this was an opportunity. So I said, ठीक है, चलो, let me join. देखेंगे क्या होता है. So I joined in 2001.
Explore करेंगे.
5-6 महीना सब सिखाया. बेसिक, विजुअल बेसिक, जावा, कावा, जो कुछ है सब सिखाया.
जावा का.
And 6 महीने के बाद I was in e-business group. 6-7 महीने के बाद I realized कि this is not
my cup of tea.
This is not my cup of tea.
Okay.
This is not something that I want to do all my life.
Yeah.
Okay. After struggling and completing a PhD, you know, I was very passionate about my subject.
Correct.
So it was very clear that it was not something that I wanted to do all my life. We were a batch of 25 PhDs who were hired by Tech Mahindra. And I gathered the courage to go and tell the head of HR that this is not something that
I really want.
So he said, no, but you have signed in for it and you have to do it. तो मैं बहुत सोचने लगी कि मैं क्या करूँ. And all of a sudden, one day, I got a call from Sudarshan Chemicals.
I know that. It's in MIDC also.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
It was near RTO. So I got a call from them. I have not applied for any position.
Okay.
I don't know how till the end. They never told me how, but they had heard about me, I think. And they called me and they said, we have a position and we want to meet you. So I went there and I had preliminary discussion. And they offered me a position of R&D manager.
Wow.
And I jumped at it.
Yeah.
And in my family, everybody was telling me that after working in granite institutions, you know, granite, everything, MBT at that time, ekdam chakak tha sab. You're going to work in a factory because यहाँ जो था RTO के यहाँ, it was in a factory. Factory भी थी उसके campus में. I said हाँ ठीक है, because ये it's something that I will not, I don't enjoy. And this was a turning point in my life.
Oh.
Because to suddenly change after 9 years from academia into industry and going through all these failed attempts where nobody wanted to hire me, the easiest for me to do at that time was to go back to MIT because they were anyway calling me. Right? Or to go to some academic institution because
you are having experience also.
Experience, so anybody. I was already assistant professor. I had already got promoted from lecturer to assistant.
That was easy.
That was very easy.
Very easy.
But I think one learning for me was just because something fails, it doesn't mean that everything will fail.
Yeah, that is the important message.
I kept asking myself, why is it that I joined MBT? I joined because my purpose was to come out of academia. So अगर मुझे MBT और software अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, So going back to academia was not the option.
Hmm.
So I stayed on. I stayed on for some more time, and then I got this opportunity of Sudarshan. I jumped at it, and then I joined Sudarshan. I was
R&D
there for
manager.
5 years.
Hmm.
I was there for 5 years. I was responsible for a lot of the projects with DIC. We had a Sudarshan had it was a joint venture with Dai Nippon Inc.
Mhm.
from Japan,
Hmm.
and I was responsible for a lot of Japanese projects. So I interacted a lot with the Japanese. So I enjoyed, and I think there I used to. Our factory was in Mahad.
Mahad
I was
MIDC.
responsible for blue and green color pigments, and it was in Mahad. So I think almost for a year, every week I would travel to Mahad,
Hmm.
Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday morning I would go come back on Thursday evening and actually work with the people in the plant.
In the plant.
That was a big learning. हम लोग तो we learn from books.
Books.
But those people, for them, everything is on the job.
Practical.
Yes, and their observation power is very good. So I learned that it is not about your
Theory.
SOP and your SAP. कि ये charge किया तो pigment बाहर आएगा, ऐसा नहीं है. The workers in the plant and they taught me a lot. They taught me कि that look at this, इसका रंग ऐसे है, ये slurry में ये हो रहा है. तो I would always say that for anybody joining a company, you must work with people on the shop floor because there's a lot you can learn from them.
Yeah.
And they were very nice to me. They would, teach me a lot of things. So I think that period was very good for me. So almost for a year, I would go very often. And even after that, I mean, till I was in Sudarshan for 5 years, I was always visiting the plant. I became a Six Sigma black belt.
Wow.
And my project also for Six Sigma black belt was manufacturing, how to improve the batch size, etc. So yes, I learned a lot that, and then 5 years later, I moved into the oil and gas sector. So from pigment industry, I moved into oil and
But
gas.
what was the reason to shift from this?
There was no reason as such. I was quite happy.
You got opportunity.
I was quite happy. But what happened is, as I told you, there was not many opportunities for people with chemistry. In Pune.
Yeah.
And this company, Halliburton, which was number 2 in oil and gas, was starting their first technology center outside of US. They were starting in Pune.
In Pune.
So there was this advertisement in the paper. They were hiring for junior positions. But it was the first time that a multinational was setting up something, an R&D center in Pune. So I thought, let me just go and see what it is. So the intention was not really to join them, just to understand what kind of research is going to happen here. So when I applied, they called me. And since I was quite well settled in Sudarshan, I told them that I'm not interested in joining at a junior position because I already have this many years of experience. If at all you think that my CV is good, and if you think I can add value, and if you come up with a senior position,
then
you can reach out to me.
Sure.
But to my pleasant surprise, they told me, just hold on. They went back to the US. A team had come, a delegation had come from US. They went back. After 1 month, they wrote to me. We have created a new position of principal scientist.
Wow.
And we would like you to join us.
That's amazing.
So I think,
That's really amazing.
So I was very happy.
कहाँ से कहाँ तक मतलब?
So I joined. But एक challenge आया.
हाँ.
I got the offer. And they said आपको 1 साल US में रहना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा.
And I was not prepared for that. Till then I had never left my children. 1-2 दिन महाड़ जाती थी. That was enough. But other than that, my children were very used to staying without my husband because he was often traveling, but never used to staying without me. So for almost a month, I spent a lot of sleepless nights. I would imagine I would get hallucinations thinking that I am in the US and my children are crying. और तभी इतना phone was not so cheap to make calls. So I was very, very scared. मैं क्या करूँ? But Halliburton was very clear. You would have to stay in the US. They were not willing to compromise on that. That was a mandatory requirement that whoever gets selected here will have to spend 1 year in the US. And at that time, my husband supported me. They were, of course, also willing to have my husband and children with me. But my children were saying, "आई तू जा, तुला कुठे पाहिजे? आम्ही नाही कुठे जाणार. आम्ही इथेच राहणार."
अच्छा.
They were very clear. They were in the age group of, say, uh, 10 to 14.
Okay.
And you know what happens to children at that age, right?
हम्म
अपने फ्रेंड्स है बस हो
बस,
गया,
बस.
खाना पीना मिल रहा है घर में बस हो गया.
बस बस
हाँ तुझा आम्ही आहोत, आम्ही राहतो इथे,
असे बोलले डायरेक्ट.
ते बोलले. सो but my husband stood very, you know, strongly supporting me, and he said, this is your golden opportunity.
हाँ, you have to grab it.
You will not get this opportunity again. So whatever has to be done, I will handle it here. My parents were there, my mother-in-law was there, so they all said, "ठीक है, you go, and we will manage." And then I, took up the assignment and I joined. They had only told us about US. 2 days after I joined, they took us our passport and said, "Now you all have to go to Malaysia
Oh,
to do a 2-month training in petroleum technology."
okay.
So I went there to Malaysia. The class was of, I think, 50 students, freshers who had joined. And we were around 5-7 of us who had done PhD, who were all joined. Rest of the class was around 40-45 fresh BTechs. And some of them were students from MIT Pune who had done their BE in petroleum engineering.
Oh, nice.
Now we were all in the same class, and I had to study petroleum engineering, and I didn't know think about pumps and valves. And 3 days of the week we had a test, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And 80% was passing.
Passing criteria. हाँ.
It was the most difficult time. ये students, ये freshers थे, वो लोग तो पूरा night मारते थे. IIT में हम लोग भी night मारते थे, but 15 साल के बाद we had lost touch of, staying up the whole night. And plus the subjects which were completely fully engineering. But fortunately, because of my teaching this, I called some of the students. I said, "अरे मुझे कुछ तो सिखाओ, मुझे ये तो नहीं जम रहा." And I have to tell you, they were really very nice, and they taught me many things about pumps, valves, and all the engineering part जो था वो लोगों ने मुझे बहुत सिखाया.
Nice.
And I'm very happy to say that in a class of 40 or 50, I stood 7th. I got almost 91%, right?
Wow.
In petroleum technology, but बहुत पढ़ाई की. I mean, it was just too much. Now when I think, I'm wondering how I did it.
चैलेंज होता है.
बहुत चैलेंज होता. And वहाँ ऐसा रूमर्स था कि अगर जो पास होंगे यहाँ, उनको US भेजेंगे. तो पास होना means was not an option, right? तो हो गया. I got very good marks, and then I went to the US. Then US also got the opportunity to work on an oil rig.
Oh.
And for a few days they took us for, just to give us an exposure. जैसे महाड में, Sudarshan में, how they took us to the plant. To actually work. So in Halliburton also, it was a mandatory part of our training to go and work on the oil rig, to see how things happen, because as we work in R&D, and if you have to develop new products, we must know how these products are going to be used on the site, in the field.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic
experience.
Fantastic experience, I would say, of working on the oil. It made me very tough. They would say that morning van would come to pick you up. तो हम लोगों पूरा यूनिफॉर्म में जाते, टॉप टू बॉटम.
पीपी रहते हो.
हाँ. हेलमेट डाल के 9 बजे सुबह तैयार हो जाओ, बैठते थे. एंड देन शाम तक गाड़ी नहीं आती थी. Those field jobs were very, उनका कुछ टाइम नहीं था.
टाइम बाउंड नहीं था.
So वो बहुत, I mean, it was a very good learning experience. Very different, something which I don't think I would have ever learned in India. I mean, in India, if somebody would ask me to go, let's say ONGC oil, because something, I think I would be scared. But there, I think safety was so highest priority. So we had to do a lot of safety trainings and everything. और उसके बाद गए. So 1 year was very good. बहुत सीखा. And then I came back. और ये भी सीखा कि बच्चे मेरे बिना रह सकते हैं. तो वो जो एक हर माँ को लगता है कि नहीं बाबा, without me children, पूरा बता दिया बच्चों ने कि ऐसे कुछ नहीं है.
ऐसे कुछ नहीं, जो आप सोचती थी वैसे कुछ नहीं.
Very happy, they were very happy. Father never forced them to do anything. आना है आना, जाओ जाना है जाओ, तो बच्चे बहुत खुश थे,
हाँ हाँ
मैं नहीं थी तो. So that was also something which I always tell to all the mothers, you know, working mothers.
whatever happens for the good only.
Happens
जो
for the
भी
good, and I tell all the mothers that don't ever underestimate your children. If you think कि मेरे बिना नहीं हो सकता है, तो
वो
ऐसे
कुछ नहीं, लाइव एग्जांपल इधर है.
लाइव एग्जाम्पल है कि actually they do better when you are not there.
हाँ
They do better when you are not nagging them.
correct.
This was a on the job experience for me.
Experience.
You know, both my children became very independent, I think, without me.
That's
So then I worked for 5 years. I was responsible for technical service, traveled a lot all over the Eastern Hemisphere, right from Australia to Brunei. I was responsible for Russia, Middle East, Asia, Europe, Egypt, Africa. So I think it was a very, very hectic time. Learned a lot. Traveled to Texas A&M, did some business leadership courses in Texas A&M. So I think very, very fulfilling. But at that time, my husband also moved to North India. He was transferred to North India, and I had to manage my children alone. So both my husband and me have always, managed somehow. We have always had a remote marriage, I think. With it. When I'm here, he's somewhere else. When he's here, I'm somewhere else. So he had moved to North India, and then in 2013, he moved to Mumbai because he was not getting a transfer. He was in Emerson. He was not getting a transfer back to Pune. So he moved to Mumbai, and I also felt that at some point I should move with him because we had already lived apart for 3 years. And here again, I have not applied for any job. But Clariant was starting its R&D center in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And they learnt about me, so some headhunter approached me. And I got a very fantastic offer of being a vice president in Clariant. It was a specialty chemical company. I also wanted to move out of oil and gas because oil and gas is a very specialized sector, and I wanted to move out of it. So it was a perfect time. So I moved to Bombay with my husband, and I joined. I set up the regional innovation center. Then I also was responsible for one of the product lines globally. And towards the end, I rose to being the managing director of Clariant in India.
Wow, nice.
So it was 10 years of journey in Clariant. Very fulfilling again. Really learnt a lot. So I think I have a very unique experience in the industry. I have experience of being in a family-owned company, how things work, in an American multinational, and in a European multinational.
Wow, perfect blend.
So yes, I think very unique. So I know the differences in each style. Every style has its own good things, and I think I have just tried to imbibe all the best in
Correct.
And in 2023 I completed 10 years in Clariant, and at that time I felt it was the right time for me to step out of the corporate world.
Wow.
I felt when I had reached the position of a managing director, to all the people who had told me that I would not be able to withstand the rigor of a chemical industry and who had rejected me,
Yeah.
It was my answer back to them.
Direct answer.
If you have a determination and if you have perseverance, you can achieve.
Sure.
So while I was at the peak of managing director, I felt that I had achieved.
Sure. Yeah.
And
no doubt.
I quit my corporate job and I wanted to do something different. Why? Because 16 years in multinationals, I realized that I interacted with a lot with Indian chemical industry. I saw there was a lot of talent. So talent ka issue nahi tha. We had a lot of people, very good people in the Indian chemical industry, but what they lacked was exposure. So multinational, you get a lot of exposure. You start interacting with people outside India, so you got to get a lot of exposure. You constantly, they're training you. They're giving you a lot of trainings all the time. So I felt that if I have to do something, I should do something for the people in the chemical industry, because whatever I am today is my time in the industry has really shaped me.
Correct.
So I felt that now I should do something for the chemical industry in India. I was also already a chairperson of R&D expert committee of Indian Chemical Council. It's an industry association.
ICC.
So I used to interact a lot. That was one, and at that time, 22, 23, ये सब बहुत आत्मनिर्भर भारत, विकसित भारत का बहुत था. So that also came, was playing an influence on me, and I had three clear purpose.
Huh.
I said, first thing is I should give back to the chemical industry because
Okay.
that is the industry which has shaped me.
Shape
So I should give back
to the
in
industry
different ways.
in different ways.
Second, I thought that I should do something for people who come from the underprivileged background.
Mhm.
Because I felt that, as I told you, my parents had a big role to play in my journey. Because my parents were educated, and I think was fortunate that they guided me. But there are many people who don't get this guidance.
Disadvantage.
Right? So they're disadvantaged and they don't get this guidance.
Correct.
So I thought this is the second area that I should do something for
Something.
people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. And the third, very important, is I wanted to pursue my music.
Music.
Because over the years, music took a backseat. Because of so much travel, I was not going for any music class or anything. And I felt there was a complete break. And I felt that now is the time that I have to, pursue my music. So these were very three clear intentions with which when I came out of my corporate role, I had absolutely no intention of joining academia again. मैंने सोचा 10 साल किया बहुत हो गया.
That's enough.
बस हो गया. I want to do this, so I started my own advisory to the chemical industry, and all of a sudden, Somaiya Vidya Vihar University, they called me, they invited me, they said no. Though I was very reluctant, no way that I wanted to join, but they were very reluctant. They said that we are just starting, and somebody of your experience would really help us, etc. And some of the people, very senior scientists who had really helped me, who had been my mentors for a long time. One person is Professor Shivram, then Professor Pillai, who is the Vice Chancellor of the university. I had known them. And Professor Shivram I knew from 1987. And I owed it a lot to him because he had helped me a lot when I was in my initial years of my professional journey.
Correct.
So he told me, Achla, no, you should join back, you should give back. Academia needs people like you. So I said, okay, I will join, but I will not teach. I don't want to do the regular teaching. I want to, now that I've spent so many years in the industry, I want to bridge. I want to be a bridge between the industry and the academia. So they agreed, and so I joined and to lead industry partnerships. So I started a center for industry partnerships, and as soon as I joined, within 15 days, BASF, which is one of the biggest chemical companies, they approached me and they said that they wanted to do something to increase the number of women in the chemical industry.
Percentage.
Chemical industry is very male dominated.
Yeah.
And in short, I don't want to go into details. We launched a program, Chemi, Women Enabled for Careers in Chemistry. And here what we do is, it's a 3-month hybrid program. We take girls from underprivileged background who are pursuing BSc or MSc chemistry. We bring them to the campus. We teach them everything that they don't learn in college. So college to unko education deta hai, but we teach them life skills. We teach them industry, what departments are there in industry. All through my network, we get people from the industry to train them. And they tell them ki industry mein sirf R&D nahi hai, unko sirf R&D malum hota hai. So we tell them that there are supply chain, there are many diverse functions.
So many things.
So industry people come. Then we also teach them team building. Okay. Then we also groom them. We teach them how to give interviews, write their resumes. And I'm very, very happy to say that we have trained almost 170 girls.
That's
so
fantastic.
Far, in the last 1.5 years, just one.
It's a start.
It's a start. And almost 80 to 85% of the girls, we have been able to give them jobs in the chemical industry.
How fantastic is it, right?
So for me, it's VChemie is my baby, and I feel really very good because these girls from Kolhapur, Solapur, Mangalore, all over India are coming. And when they come back, and when they have joined the chemical industry, just earlier this week, one girl came with her mother, and she told me, "Madam, I work on the shop floor. I take care of the whole plant." And now after 1 year, my manager is very happy, and they are going to give me independent charge to lead a plant. I mean, it is something which is unheard of in the chemical industry. There are few companies now who are taking the lead, But when I see these girls very confident from day one when they join, and even the companies who are hiring them are coming back and saying
That's
that,
really amazing.
which is very good.
Very good. Yeah.
So this is something which I'm very happy about. And we are also doing some upskilling programs. As I said, multinationals may you get a lot of exposure to training. So I am partnering with other NGOs, etc., and we are doing some upskilling programs, how to make the chemical industry safe, how to come out with products which are very safe. So those are the things that I'm doing programs. And this is one part. The second part, which I said, I want to help with the industry, so I go as an advisor to chemical companies. I'm also advising startups, and I'm also on the board of some companies. I'm on the board of
Independent
Apcotex.
director.
I'm an independent director on Apcotex and ProClean Technologies. So I think technical advice, or whatever I give through my technical advisory role, strategic advice for chemical companies I do through my board roles, and I also help them with upskilling programs. And with all this, of course, my music, I'm trying to
We will get back
be
to
very active with my music. So yeah, I think my life has been very diverse, lot of variety,
I can see.
and at no point I have any regrets in my life.
That's
is what I
really
can say.
amazing. Beautiful. Yeah. So fantastic. So actually we have covered all the things before, during and after IIT Bombay. So it's a time to play rapid fire round.
Oh my God.
So fasten your belt and
So
let's
I had
start.
heard that in other podcasts, rapid fire का तो पहले सब question दे देते, open book नहीं था, ये तो
No,
मुझे
it's-
बताया नहीं
no.
गया कि rapid
Actually,
fire में क्या आने वाला है.
You are very much talented. You don't need. I think so.
Okay.
So let's get started. So one chemical element that best describes your personality.
Wow. I think the periodic table has several elements, and every element on its own may not be. I don't think that I'm any one element. I think I am a mixture of several elements, and I'm more like a molecule with more than a few elements.
Okay, great. The next question: the most beautiful country you have visited for work?
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
I think it was the best thing that I was. Clariant is a Swiss multinational. So I traveled to Switzerland 4 times a year for 10 years.
Oh,
And I've fallen in love with the country.
great. The first word that comes to your mind when I say innovation?
Creativity.
Creativity. Great. One leadership lesson you wish everyone knew early in their career?
Networking.
Yeah.
ये तो
Networking.
buzzword है अभी.
अच्छा. Patent or people? What excites you more?
Both. I am a inventor of 25 US patents.
Oh, nice.
And I love people. I love being with people. So
Great.
I can't choose.
Okay. Your prudent achievements outside of work?
I'm very proud being a mother
Okay.
of the beautiful children who really shaped very well and the progress that they make. So I think that is my proudest moment.
That's amazing. If not chemistry, what career would you have chosen?
I think I was very happy with microbiology. So I think something in the intersection of biology and chemistry is what I would have done.
Okay. Your favorite book or movie for inspiration?
I'm not a book lover. I don't read much.
Okay.
I am not a movie buff at all.
Okay.
But lately,
Huh.
thanks to youngsters like you, I have
Huh.
become a big fan of podcasts. So
Oh.
I really enjoy listening to podcasts, and I think that this entire podcast industry is targeted towards people like me who want to read a lot, but would prefer hearing them from people live.
Okay, great. And last question is one line you would put on poster or to inspire young women in STEM.
Never give up.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. So guys, that's what we have learned so much from the ma'am, and here we are going to end this podcast. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us, for giving a valuable time to us. Hope you guys will going to enjoy this show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for staying till the last of the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.